How dumb can God be to create his own enemy? I just saw this on Facebook. And I like looking at this group that I'm following on Facebook. You guys know I'm a spiritual person. I've spent the past couple of years doing real deep consciousness work. And this is like an atheist versus Christian group. And I just love seeing, I'm basically studying Christians and atheists and understanding how their mind works. And I'm pointing out a lot of the blind spots. But they were kind of talking about this topic here. And I answered this question in the comment section. And, this is obviously an atheist posing this question: how dumb can God be to create his own enemy? And actually, it does make perfect sense for God to create his own enemy, and I'm going to explain why. So, what is God? Let's just look at this for a second. God is this thing that is eternal, right? It's always existed, right? So that's that. Even if you're not spiritual or even if you're not religious, you can kind of understand what people mean when they say God. So God is this eternal thing. One of the things that people don't consider is that if you exist as a being that's infinite and eternal and indestructible and unlimited, then there's really nothing for you to do other than to just make shit and just create stuff. And I believe that this is actually the case. So why it makes perfect sense for God to create his own enemy is because there's nothing else for him to do. He's already done everything. If he's infinite, he's already done everything. So how does God make things interesting for himself? Think about when you play a video game. When you play a video game like Resident Evil 4. I played Resident Evil 4 many times. And when you beat the game and you have the option to unlock infinite ammo. Infinite ammo is a fun goal to achieve. Like, you're playing the game and you're grinding, you're doing whatever you got to do to beat the time limit, whatever, to get the infinite rocket launcher, and you're excited to get infinite ammo, and then you get it. So now you got the infinite ammo, and you do New Game Plus, and you go back in, and now you got the rocket launcher, and you're just blowing everybody up. All the bosses that embarrassed you a few times during your first playthrough, now you're just cleaning everybody up in just a shot. Or any infinite gun. It makes the game a lot easier. And it's a lot of fun to play with infinite ammo. But it's only fun to do that once. I've rarely ever done 2 infinite ammo runs in Resident Evil 4. And why is that? That's because when the game is too easy, when you're God, you're basically God in a video game if you have infinite ammo or you have infinite health. When you play on that level, the game gets boring really fucking fast. Imagine in your life, let's say you're you've sucked at dating or something. You've never got to be in the relationships you wanted to be in. Now imagine that you could get into relationships. You just said hi to a girl or to a guy and they just instantly wanted to date you. That seems dope as fuck until about 100 people later, you're going to be completely bored with the way that mechanism works, with being able to just get that girl or get that guy real easy. And that's because we require challenges for life to be interesting. Now imagine how bad that is for God. Imagine a God that knows everything, knows how to do everything, created everything, so of course he knows how to do it because he's the one who made it. Imagine how bored he would get with his own creation. Imagine just sitting for all eternity. You can just close your eyes and just imagine shit. You can imagine a whole life doing whatever. You can imagine, being able to jump into the ocean and rip a shark in half or something. God can just do all kinds of stuff if he imagines that he could do that, right? Because he's all powerful. The point is that God would get really bored really fast with having nothing to do. So the solution that God would have to this problem of boredom, right? Because God would also have to be able to solve this problem of boredom. Because he's got a new problem. He's well, I've solved everything, but I've created a new problem when I solved all the problems. And the new problem is that I have no problems to solve. So how does God solve that problem? He creates problems. It's funny. I'm not religious, But the Bible does say a few interesting things that do point to like the true nature of like reality. And you can check yourself. You can just see life yourself. There's a lot of stuff in life that you're like, damn, I can't believe this problem exists. Like cancer, right? Cancer exists. Breakups exist. You got other diseases that are just as bad as cancer that exist. You got minor inconveniences like stubbing your toe. Like it's such a silly thing to be able to stub your toe. It's like cancer and the big things are like one a problem that exists, but it's like, why do the little problems exist? Like, why did the dog shit on the carpet? Why did I stub my toe? Why did I lose my keys, which caused me to be late for work, which caused an argument with my boss, right? It's just like little things that just cause all these problems that cause us stress and whatnot. The Bible does say that God creates the good and evil, the light and the dark. But people never really think about that because we live in a time where people don't spend a lot of time thinking deeply about anything. I've already contemplated through all of that. And what I've discovered is that God is the king of duality, which means that he is the good and the bad. And it's hard for us to accept God that way. But God accepts himself that way, and that's precisely why he's created problems for himself. So he created the devil because he needed a problem. He needed friction, right? You need problems and friction in your life. It's funny because if you didn't have some problems, you probably wouldn't even be able to move. Like imagine if nothing concerned you, we wouldn't even do anything. Right? Imagine if death was no problem to us. Like, imagine if we just didn't give a fuck about death. Can you imagine that? Can you fathom you just didn't give a fuck about death at all? Like, and no human ever did. Right? Somebody just walks into your house, fucking pops your head off with a gun. You see them walk in and you're just sitting there. It doesn't even register you. You don't even care. Imagine if that was real for you. Imagine if, you got hungry. But you're just like, oh, you know what? I don't care. Right? Hunger didn't bother you. Imagine all the people that you like and your crushes that you want to date and all the moralizing and the gaslighting we do to each other. What if we just didn't give a fuck about anything? Nothing would get done. Life would lose its zest. There would be nothing to do. So it sucks when you understand this, and this is, I think, why people don't think about it deeply, is because as soon as you realize like what problems contribute to the system that we call life, to reality, to existence, you realize like the bittersweet reality of the situation, which is, damn, like I hate a lot of our problems. Like basically all of us hate cancer. We all hate stubbing our toes. We all hate losing $20, or whatever, losing our girlfriend, boyfriend. But at the same time, those things are absolutely necessary. Not the particulars, but the problems themselves. Like the very notion of a problem is completely necessary. So God does indeed create his own problems. And that's why this this question that these atheists were asking is very interesting. If they just think about it just a little bit deeper, even if they're considering like the biblical God, even my answer even applies to like the biblical God, and that God is not God. That is not true. That's a story. But even in that context, it still makes perfect sense why God would make his problems. All you got to do is get a little creative, and you'll find out exactly why God would do any of the things that he does. We just have to get our head out of our ass because we think it's all about us. We're like, oh, well, God created this world with all these problems. And it's like, yeah, but what if he didn't make the world for you, you idiot? Like, well, it might not have anything to do with you. The whole Bible is about humans and salvation, human sin, human wickedness. Humans are going to face this, and humans are going to be redeemed here, and humans did these things that were bad, and you guys have to follow these commandments. It's like you guys don't realize the whole damn Bible is just a sneaky way for humans to make themselves the main character of the story. It doesn't matter if bad stuff happens to us in the story. We just have to be the main character of the story because we need something interesting to be going on in the world. And the Bible is no different. The Bible is actually one of those things that God created. It's its own problem for God and for us for that matter. I'm out.